Greetings and grand rising. This is another episode of Just a Tip where we talk about things, ideas, people, and places. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the slave Bible and religious education versus changing the way we've been conditioned to think. And again, I have on this episode Dr. Lloyd Darby Jr. How you doing, Dr. Darby?
Oh, I'm top of the world, my friend. Grand rising to everyone and you, my brother. As always, it's a pleasure, and I'm humbled to be here. Let's go.
Let's get it in. So, man, we have talked about the deconstruction of Christianity, and now we are right here breaking down the slave Bible. And I am going to turn the mic over to you because I am ready to learn.
All right, sir. I appreciate that. And first, let me get a couple of things out the way. I noticed in some comments and a couple of people that gave me some feedback on some of the things they've heard in our actually recordings. Number one, we are not atheists over here at Grand Rising Empowerment Online. We don't believe in the Bible God or any God in the sky. But we are not atheists. We understand that there is a creator, and we love that creator. We care for that creator, and we commune with that creator on a daily basis. Okay? So, any of you that think that we are atheists and don't believe in a creator, that is incorrect. We accept the fact that there is a creator, and that must be a creator. Number two, the sky god and any other god in all religion was created by mankind. Mankind. We understand that. We know that. We don't have to make a hard stretch to believe that. That is something that is right in front of our faces every day. We understand that the term God was created by man. In other words, man made God in his image. God did not make man in his. So when you hear the term God, it refers to the most amazing and incredible humanity. That is every human, male and female, on an equal plane. We all are God universally, if that's the term that you want to use. But it refers to that amazing human, that marvelous, amazing human. Nothing can be done, nothing can be solved, nothing can be venerated without the human God, which is the man and the woman. And that makes it a plural term, not a singular term. No matter whether it's Greek, American, Hindu, Chinese, any gods that you hear that are outside of ourselves was created by mankind. We all must bow down, however, to the creator of the universe, which is an energy or an essence that runs through each one of us every single day. Appreciate it, brother. I just wanted to get that out there so we can make it clear.
Absolutely. I mean, we are a part of that energy.
Yes.
In a previous episode, I talked about energy, frequency, that we are a part of, that transcends us. Once this body it has made that transition, that energy is shared back to the universe.
Yes, sir.
So
right where it comes from.
There you go.
And if anybody wants to put a name to it exactly, if you have to be scientific, the S-U-N, okay? No, we're not sun worshipers. We are knowledgeable about the sun. And we understand the power of it and its contribution to life on the planet.
That's right.
All life.
Without the sun, everything dies.
Bingo. Okay, so no, we're not sun worshipers. We just acknowledge and we understand that the sun has the power, and without the sun, there's no life. S-U-N.
That's right. That's right. EVF family, energy, vibration, and frequency.
Bingo.
EVF. And every living source is connected to EVF, energy, vibration, and frequency.
That's it.
Okay.
And
And
we can go deeper if we want
we
to,
can,
but
we
we're gonna keep it
That's
on
right.
the elementary level as we can, as much as we can. But anybody can contact us. They know where to reach and comment.
Hey, that's right. At the bottom of this Facebook group, you have the opportunity to make comments and share your thoughts and anything you want to bring to our attention, or if you just want to even come on to the show, onto the episode to voice your opinion. We are open to dialogue, and we're open to have that conversation, because this is something that's always been kept to the back, and even right now to this very day, I've reached out to people, and they don't reach out. They don't reach back to me, to discuss some of the things and concerns that I have. It's taboo.
Yes.
It's almost like don't nobody talk about that.
Well, just tell like it is. It's fear. It's fear, and the fear has been instilled, in us, especially if it's a result of our environment, observations, associations, and teaching that we were born into. So comes a long way. We spoke about this between you and I personally, how we feared questioning anything about the Bible God, before we could do anything, before we could accept any other train of thought. We had to really deal with that fear of, wow, I don't want to get struck down. I don't want to, get cursed. I don't want to be cursed.
That's right.
And that's not an easy task to get over. If someone's able to do that, hey, man, more power to them. But that was not my case. That wasn't my case. We were talking about, when I began, I talked about trying to prove that the Bible God actually existed based on the document that I studied, which was the King James Version of the Bible, the Torah, Pentateuch, and if I want to go back further, the Latin Vulgate, Septuagint, and all those things connected to it. And the more I studied, the more I found out that it was created by man and had a lot of human influence in it, but it did not sign up or at least match up to actual history versus biblical history. Two different things.
I'm gonna say this one thing, and then I know we're about to get into education, but
we got the time.
We do have plenty of time, and that's what that
fireside chat.
And you know what the thing about it is, no matter what, you can't go wrong with what we're doing.
No,
if we don't get through everything, well, we got another episode to do it in.
Part 2,
part 3, part 4, however many parts we need in order to get through what we here to do, which is educate or bring the knowledge to the people. And you do whatever you want to with the knowledge.
Yes, sir.
You can negate it, you can chop it up, or you can toss it to the side. But the information is here. And if you truly want to be liberated, if you truly want to divest yourself of that control, I will highly recommend that you break open and look outside the King James Version of the Bible, logical reasoning. So here recently, I've been watching, social media and the news, and something came across my algorithms. Well, them algorithms, they will push stuff to you.
Yeah.
So there's a video that I came across, and this young lady is talking about why do people have a big issue about the identity of Jesus? They were going back and forth, and I'm sitting here listening, and then in the comments, someone has said that, well, Christians identify with who they see. And just like with any other religion, God is a reflection of the people. What you see in any artifacts or any art done is in their image, right?
Yeah.
And any other Islam, any other religion, you see themselves in the image.
Yes.
Then I was like, then someone said, do you see the pattern? Then I responded, yes, I see the pattern. Man-made God.
Hello.
In his image. That's the trend.
Yes,
that's the logical reasoning to why you have such a division across different religions, because people want to see themselves in what they worship.
Yeah, this is true. Yes.
So this thing called Christianity, national, that's a whole different debate. But it goes back to what you just said.
Yeah.
We want to see ourselves in God. Therefore, just logical thinking, man created God in his image,
Yes.
how we view him.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir. They were right. But then again, it's wrong. It's like they were right, but with some adjustments they need. Okay. So I'm going to break that down real quick as I can.
okay.
Okay. Because you're right on point. Now, number one, Christianity did not start in Europe. Okay. It couldn't have. Just think about it. Let's just use the regular story. Okay. Judea, the Jew. What was Christ? He was a Jew. Okay.
Right.
This is real simple because when you look at the people in that land of Judea, that is not in Europe, correct?
That's correct.
However, there were a group of people that ventured out. I'm summarizing this from Rome, right?
Mhm.
This is Italy, right? They invaded where? Egypt, Judea, right?
That's right.
And when they invaded, they took captive, okay, some people. Now, I'm going to talk about the first record of the church, the oldest one, which is the Ethiopian church, because they're a critical part in this whole Christianity started in Africa concept. Okay. There was a Syrian shipwrecked with his brother. His name was Frumentius. Okay. He was a bishop. He was a converted Christian, convert. He joins up with the king Ascom, okay, Ascomite, which was an African, and the African was converted to Christianity in Ethiopia. This is how the Ethiopian church got started. And this concept of Christianity began in Africa, started to spread. However, the Christianity that you have in North America, which is where we are, is not the same as the original Christianity in Ethiopia. Now, listeners can do their own research and you'll look up the major differences in those. Okay. But what started out as Christianity in Ethiopia is not the version that we got in the King James. Now it had been doctored with, tampered with, verses removed. All of a sudden, instead of you having a savior that resembled yourself, you got one that resembled your oppressor, right? They call that colonization. When you're colonized, you're going to take on the aspects of that people everywhere. Case in point, you might be in a country or a location where they're all people of color, black folks, African, but in the court, they'll have on that George Washington wig, right? Where did that come from? That came from the oppressor. So that is the queen, that is British, okay? And that is European. So this is the dilemma we come to. So anytime somebody tells me Christianity started in Africa, I don't disagree because I know the trail, but it's not the same one that came over to North America when we received the King James. That's the whitewashed version.
There you go.
Look at the names if you don't believe me. Peter, Paul, Matthew, John.
Luke,
Okay.
Mary,
Timothy, hello. Okay.
Timothy.
Yes. These are the major players. Okay. Look at the dominants, all masculine. Not one woman disciple. As a matter of fact, it literally states that the woman is not equal to the man. So the same things that the oppressor believed, it's the same things they brought over. And I'm going to wrap that up right there.
There
So
you go.
makes sense.
Hey, don't debate us.
Right.
It's all right there in the word.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
So much information is out there, family. The way society, the way information is readily available, you will have to. It would be pretty much malpractice if you did not do your due diligence. You'll be willfully ignorant and not wanting to challenge the information for yourself.
Yes. And keep it simple. Don't get too deep because, you can get lost in the minutia. Believe me. Trust me. Oh, my goodness.
Every time I do my study and there's so much information that's coming at me and I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let me push it back. Let me step back from this and let me re-engage it.
Yeah.
And every time I re-engage, I get 1 foot further. Okay, then I back up. I get 2 steps further. So
repack, reassemble it, break it down.
Okay.
Put in a layman's term.
There you go.
And keep it simple. Anybody want to go deeper than that, let them go ahead. Okay. But I spend a lot of money on education just to realize I probably could have accomplished it myself in a lot easier way. And threw out a whole bunch of stuff that's in my head now, you see? So that's my advice. Just keep it simple. Most people are not walking around here theologians and that have degrees in biblical studies and stuff. Most people don't.
Okay.
So you take that and a penny and you get the same thing with all that minutia stuff, nothing. Okay. We need the stuff that we can apply practically and a basic information knowledge that gives us power. And that means we have to break it down and try to keep it as simple. Now, on an individual basis, if someone wants to go deep, I can't help it. It's like crack. I'm hooked now. It's like every day, I'm always looking at something. Something is something. I can't help it. It's just my natural way.
Okay.
But I've learned to try to keep it as simple as I can. By, early on, 20 years ago or so, when I get on a tangent, I look up and I notice the person's face. They checked out like five sentences ago. They're like, okay, stop. Plus, your wife will tell on you quick.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, baby,
Hold on, wait a minute. Have you gotten a knee tap?
Yeah, the knee tap.
My wife does it to me all the time.
That's enough. Pull back.
That's right. Time to let that go.
Yeah, okay, brother. Thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Okay, so Dr. Darby, let's break this whole thing down.
Yeah.
So in my research, I have connected with this gentleman. His name is Mr. Battle.
Yes.
And Mr. Battle, well, man, he is a researcher.
All right.
Okay. And family, I'm going to let Mr. Battle tell you what this is all about and who was the key person that actually initiated this. Here you go, Mr. Battle. What you got for us?
The Right Reverend Beilby Porteus, 1731 to 1809, was a prominent English clergyman, a noted preacher, and a significant figure in the abolitionist movement. He served as the Bishop of Chester from 1776 to 1787, and then as the Bishop of London from 1787 until his death. As Bishop of London, Porteus held ecclesiastical authority over all British colonies, placing the plantations of the British West Indies under his religious jurisdiction. He is a deeply contradictory figure in history, as he was both a vocal opponent of the slave trade and the man who authorized the creation of the slave Bible as a tool for the mental slavery of the people he claimed to be helping. Here is a breakdown of his conflicting roles. 1. Porteus the abolitionist. By the standards of his day, Porteus was a committed and passionate abolitionist. Political activism. He was a close associate of William Wilberforce and a member of the Clapham sect, an influential group of evangelical social reformers. House of Lords. He used his position in the House of Lords to campaign vigorously against the slave trade, consistently voting for its abolition. Public preaching. In 1783, long before it was a popular position, he preached a famous and influential sermon that criticized the Church of England's role in slavery and argued for the civilization, improvement, and conversion of enslaved Africans. 2. The Porteus Paradox, Reform versus Abolition. Porteus's activism was complicated by his personal and institutional ties to slavery. Personal ties. He was the son of a Virginia tobacco planter, and his family's wealth was derived from enslaved labor. Institutional ties. He was deeply involved with the Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, SPG, which itself owned the Codrington plantations in Barbados and approximately 300 enslaved people. This contradiction is often explained by distinguishing between his opposition to the slave trade, the kidnapping and transport of people from Africa, and the institution of slavery itself, the system of owning people who were already in the colonies. Porteus was an ameliorationist, meaning he sought to reform or ameliorate the institution of slavery, not necessarily end it immediately. He believed that making slavery more humane and converting the enslaved was the proper Christian path. His writings suggest he believed that even after emancipation, formerly enslaved people should be obliged to continue for a stated time as day laborers on the plantation. 3. Authorization of the Slave Bible. The Slave Bible was the primary tool of this amelioration project. In 1794, Porteus founded the Society for the Conversion and Religious Instruction and Education of the Negro Slaves in the British West India Islands. The society faced a major problem. Plantation owners were hostile to missionaries, fearing that literacy and Christianity would spread dangerous ideas of freedom, equality, and rebellion. The Slave Bible was Porteus's solution, designed to appease the planters. He gave the explicit instruction to prepare a short form of public prayers for them, together with select portions of Scripture, particularly those which relate to the duties of slaves towards their masters. Porteus argued to the plantation owners that this version of Christianity would be economically beneficial. He claimed that converted slaves would be happier and more productive, more compliant, and would even produce a greater number of children. His racist and paternalistic argument was, in effect, that the slaves get Jesus and the owners get more slaves. This reveals the text's ultimate purpose, to use religion as a tool of social control to instill obedience and preserve the institution of slavery.
Thank you very much, Mr. Battle, for that articulation of Mr. Porteus and the Slave Bible.
Wow, it went deep, didn't it?
It did. It did.
So one of the things that I like to point out that jumps right out at us, obviously, is that he was called an abolitionist, which is the key word in there is abolish. So here we have a man that refers to himself as an abolitionist, which means to abolish or get rid of. And he's in this, the recording called a contradiction, and they were rightly so, or a conflict at least within himself.
At a minimum.
Trying to end it or slavery, or trying to deal with reform. So to me, whether you reform it, okay, or you subsidize it, or you make it more civil, it still exists. So that is the opposite of abolishment. So I think they should remove that title from me personally from the whole thing, because whatever he was doing, if it did not result in the abolishment of what he thought was incorrect, what was the point?
Yeah, what was the point?
He was straddling the fence.
He was.
Yeah.
He was having his cake and eating it too.
Yes.
You know, so I don't particularly agree with the assessment that he was an abolitionist. You can just look at, so he was Frederick Douglass.
Right.
So, you know.
Right. I understand.
Two things that don't match.
Right.
You cannot use that particular term for that gentleman, and you already have abolitionists that we know for a fact they were on the side of ending slavery.
Absolutely. Basically, he who holds the title does not guarantee the performance of the title. Right?
There you go.
Ooh, I almost said something. I'm going to leave it right there.
No, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
So you could have a pastor. They are a pastor, but that doesn't mean that they are guaranteed to perform as one. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave that right there. Oh, my goodness. We could go on a lot of branches on that tree, can't we?
We sure can.
But we'll leave it alone. So that's the first thing that kind of stood out with me on there. And also the next thing was that when they did this rearranging and this removal of these verses in the Bible, as you see, I have my Negro Bible right here.
I see it.
I have it even says the correct name, select parts of the Holy Bible for the use of the Negro slaves. And I've read it, of course, and I've went through here and listen, I've actually you can see here, and anybody wants to purchase this Bible, they can purchase it. You can get it on Amazon and mostly any bookstores. It even has Beilby Porteus information in it. But you can see, I'm gonna let you look at this, brother. You could see where I highlighted every place that they took out the whole chapter.
The entire
You see, the whole chapter is removed.
Leviticus.
So, absolutely. So
100% removed
you
from
see that?
the slave Bible.
Right. You see? So what you find is that in a nutshell, every place in the Bible that dealt with liberation, inequality, or equality rather, and freedom, they took it out. So right there is manipulation right there, because what you're trying to do now is you're trying to control, okay, the people, which is what they were doing anyway. Now, something else I noticed that they did when researching this is that what they did is that any other time prior to that, they didn't want the slaves reading, right?
Correct.
Now they come out with the slave Bible. Now they want to teach them how to read, but they had to read that. So through that, they will convert those slaves. And then those slaves that were converted to Christianity through this slave Bible cost more than the ones that were not. So they still separated them based on this Christianity in this book. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense.
Right. Kind of a slick move, but still the same. You're still oppressing. Even though you put God in it, you're still oppressing, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, you know, and I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to attempt, and it worked, to get the slave to see the master as God in the sky. That's what they were doing. So to obey the master is obeying the sky God. And to disobey the master is to disobey the God. And, you know, we're very spiritual people anyway. So that's not going to be hard to do if you really believe that. And I convince you that, hey, this book is a holy book. And just read what it says. Slaves, obey your masters. You know, we should read a couple, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah.
And see what, because if you look at some of the examples of the verses that remained, excuse me, in the Old Testament, okay. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll leave that in the handout right here. But if you look at some of the verses in the Old Testament, they left where it told them how to treat the slave. Okay. Right? They left that in Exodus 21, 20 to 21.
Let's
Leviticus
go ahead.
in 25, right? Where it gave them directions on how to treat the slave. Excuse me. And as you know, I gave you, I have all the verses. Remember, I gave you that handout.
Yes, sir.
On every verse in the book that touches on slavery, and in the Old Testament and the New Testament. So I won't get into reading them all here, but basically there are criteria and there are instructions on what to do when you beat a slave and he doesn't die, what to do if you capture the slaves around you versus how to treat these slaves that were Israel around you. There are different rules and regulations on that. And so as you can see, anything that has to do with slavery is just simply wrong as it pertains to humanity and mankind. Mm-hmm. Something else they left out, by the way, even though they made extreme efforts and they carried those out, the slaves still found a way to cope and overcome. And one of those actions the slave carried out were secret meetings. And these secret meetings were done in places they call hush harbors. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the hush harbor.
No.
Okay, well, the hush harbors were secret places that they met in the woods or by the swamps. And they still practice their cultural systems in their spiritual practices. And those meetings strengthened their faith and the unity they had, and it built solidarity. And it was all done out of the watchful eye of the slave master. So we always find a way to overcome, as you could see, evidence of us sitting here right here today.
That's right.
Right? We've always found a way to overcome anything that the oppressor tried to do at some point. So that's the good news about it. It was not the end all to be all when they created this slave book of manipulation from the so-called holy book. We still found a way to meet in these places called hush harbors. And that's something that people can look up as well.
You know, I really think in order for us to make the necessary changes in the Black community, I think we need to have a modern day hush harbor.
Mm.
We need to learn how to move in silence.
Yes. Yes.
To
That's
implement
yes.
the plan of action that we want to see for ourselves and for our people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how that looks, but I know in my mind we need to, as a people, establish new hush harbors.
Yes. Yes.
Orchestrate our movements,
mm-hmm.
bring together unity in our movements, so that we can start gaining access, establish our empowerment,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
our power.
Yes.
Because right now, in my eyes, and you can obviously, Dr. Darby, you can share your thoughts.
Sure.
How I view it, I mean, we don't have power. We as a people don't have collective power anymore, because that was all stripped away through our desire to want to emulate, our desire to want to be a part of.
Right.
And in doing that, we gave up so much leverage in the pursuit of equality.
Yeah, they call that assimilation.
There you go, assimilation.
All right.
So,
well, speaking to that, there are so-called there are hush harbors that are existence, today still. And however, it's a slippery slope because you still have that separatism going on even between that. For example, if you look at the Nation of Islam, they have, great qualities. I don't know if you know any Muslims. Excuse me.
Oh, my younger days, man, I was influenced.
Right.
In Washington, D.C. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen it.
The idea of saving, yourself money-wise, working together as a group to support one another and having a unified goal, planting your own food, having your own barbershops, your own medical care, dietary laws, and so forth. So that concept works. The problem is if you don't accept their ideology and their doctrine, now it's going to be a problem because at some point now you want to clash. You see?
Oh, yeah.
The Hebrew Israelites in some of the sects, they are the same way. And that's SECTS, sects. Yeah. Some of them are the same way. They get together, they feed people that are less fortunate, they take care of their women, they work together in unified manner to build farms, and they take their monies and collectively work them together. I mean, these things that the Jewish community has been doing, the whole time. So has the Chinese, okay, right in this country. So is the Indian, okay.
That's right.
India, right in this country. So they do that. However, the problem is going to come in, like I said, once again, if you don't accept their Israelite religion and, the 12 tribe chart, in which they will deem you as a Shemite, not from Ham or Canaan, okay, not an African. So it still ends up in division. This is that slippery slope I'm talking about. And that we know about Christianity. You got apostolic, right?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Baptist. You got Methodist, Seventh-day Adventist, Presbyterian. I mean, I can go on and on. And within those sects, it's separate. So what does that
AME.
tell you? AME, you know, it tells you that this religion is routed in separatism.
Division. That's right.
So this is what we do to solve that. To your point, we deal in what are you first? Human.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we deal with humanity. It doesn't really matter. And you're doing it anyway. Okay. If you have to go to the hospital, out to a restaurant and eat, catch a cab or Uber, I should say these days, take a flight, it doesn't matter what the religion or nationality is of the doctor, the pilot, the cook. No. Apparently not, because you don't refuse to eat it. If you don't like a certain group of people, you don't know what's going on. That ought to let you know right there that there's something we can live without. Now, I know we're in a country where your freedom of religion is practiced. I understand that. And I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm saying is when it causes you for no reason to discount your fellow man, that's a human, for no reason other than the ideology, okay, then it's not beneficial. That's all I'm saying. And I've seen the Hebrew Israelites, some of the sects, have Caucasians kiss their boot on the corner, on their knees. And yes, they found some that were crazy enough to kneel down and kiss their boot. And once they did that, they said, okay, at least we'll accept you that. We can't accept you as a brother, but you kissed our boot for all the crimes you've done, because you have some of those sects that still consider them the devil. You've heard it before.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is all division to me. This is all division.
And it's all division. And the one thing that I wish our people could be able to do is be able to accept that we're not a monolith.
Yes.
We have the ability to think differently across the board and across the spectrum, across religion, across it all.
Yes.
I've even heard here recently some Christians are saying, I'm a Christian before I was black. I'm like, oh man, the indoctrination. I just rub my, I want to. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear what you're saying? You mean to tell me your ancestors' suffering was wasted? Make it make sense to me that you're willing to look past them to say this doctrine, this religious doctrine, is above everything. It's in our private discussions, and I'm gonna make it, now public. One thing that I had said, it's a mental illness.
Yes. Yes.
It's a mental illness. This is just me. I'm not a doctor. This is my assessment of it. Because when you cannot logically think through or reason through, when you have something in front of you that is factual, cannot be altered. It is factual. This is what happened. And you cannot look at that without putting yourself in a contortion, twisted pretzel to try and justify that isn't what it is. It's a problem. It's a major problem. But can we, your professional opinion, Dr. Darby, can we be able to unite? Because you have, we can break this down. You have the Black Panther Party. You have the Hebrew Israelites. You have the different...
Yes, sects.
Different Nation of Islam.
Yes.
You have...
Yeah, that's one type Muslim.
Right.
Because there's two types of Muslims within that. The Sunni and the,
Sunni and Shia. I mean, it's but it's all family, is all done by design.
Right.
It is all done by design.
Well,
That's why we
to
can
answer
have.
your question,
Yeah.
before we get away from it,
Sorry.
yes, you can. You know, it's always possibility. I'm always going to think possibility. That's just that individual I am. You know, I'm a half full God versus half empty. So there's a possibility, absolutely, and you're doing it anyway. I don't believe them. Anybody who says they aren't, I don't believe them. There's too many things in this world that we legitimately have to do in order not to cross paths and not to accept others. Okay, ways of thinking and ways of, too many things we have to do. Now you can make any excuse you want to justify that you're not, but you are. You know, I had a gentleman I used to work with. He was from one of the Israelite camps. Okay, and he was always talking to me about the ankh I wore. I used to wear ankhs. I still have them on some things. I'm always going to have something on me. I got an adinkra on me right now. Okay, so you know he used to try to talk to me about that. And I told them, but you're in violation of your own doctrine. Because if you keep going up for the company we work for, you're going to be working for the one you call Edomite, which is a Caucasian. And the same one that was over me is over you. And I was over him. You see? So at the end of the day, he tried to justify, well, that doesn't count. Oh, it doesn't count at work. Okay, that you're following the orders, whether you agree with them or not. Yes, it is. What you're doing is you're creating a conflict within your own mind that you don't need. You see? And so yes, a lot of times they're suffering from these psychological impairments that keep them blocked from seeing what's the actual reality of the situation. Okay? If you're asking permission to take time off and he says no, if you go anyway, there are going to be consequences. So you don't have the power over them. He'll have the power over you by virtue of the position. Now, believe it or not, I do know some that have, began to work for themselves, and they do not have any bosses that are of an other nationality. However, you still got driver's license. If you want to own property, you still got the state representative. This is United States. We are united over here, supposedly. That's the premise. So you're not going to be able to get away from it. No more than the KKK that will try to do that. They can't do it either, because at some point you have to realize the human, that what we're trying to preserve is going to be the better option for all involved, especially you start talking about bloodline. Get away from here. I mean, you're going to try to connect your bloodline to a Shemite, a biblical Shemite. Come on, man. Come on, man. And wouldn't your great grandmother know before you what your bloodline is? Your grandmother, your mother and father, you're going to be a different bloodline than them, huh? And then what happens when your mother's white? Now you say, oh no, we're just going to go by whatever the father is. Okay, what if the father's white and the mother's black? Now you still going to hate white? You're not making any sense. Let's get all that off the table and let's deal with humanity. And move forward with that. That's where the power lies.
Wow. Okay. So in my research, there's only three intact slave Bibles right now in existence.
That's correct.
And
you mean original?
The original.
Yes.
There's only 3 intact.
It's hard to find an original anything, but
right. And they're all secure, and one is in an altar in a museum.
Yeah. Yes.
But I say all that to say this was to prevent uprisings.
Yes.
I already know the answer to this, but I pose it to the audience members. Did Nat Turner have a slave Bible?
No.
He did not.
No.
He didn't, family. No. He had the unfiltered
parts of the King James.
Okay.
That he could not read. It was in his hands, and he got to it anyway. But he was being obedient to, hey, don't go over there. Only read from this section.
Right.
That was a problem. You start reading from the sections of the book
that he wasn't
right.
Authorized.
Right.
Authorized.
And he had questions.
Yeah. So if you put the timeline together, so 1807 is when the Slave Bible was published.
Yes.
And then the Nat Turner uprising was 1831, I believe.
Yes.
So that history is something.
Yes.
It's something. I love it.
Absolutely. And remember, they're in West Indies. So we're gonna leave. We're gonna end on a good note. So I'm gonna try to, and I don't use that word very often, but I usually just go ahead and do it. But but the one thing I notice is that when you have these King James book, they're always taking it and reworking it and changing it. And as you see here, I have another one of my Bibles. This is the First Nations. This is what they gave to the Native Americans. Okay. So this Bible was designed for Native Americans.
I never knew this.
Oh, yes. And in here, if you look up the Panara Indians, okay, some pronounce it Panare. Okay, they tried to convince them. When I say they, I mean the missionaries. Okay, they tried to convince them that they were sinners, and they couldn't understand that concept. So they went and printed a Bible and put them in the Bible as sinners and committing sin. That's why they told them they needed Jesus. It was first they told the Panera, said, "Hey man, for what? Jesus for what? we don't need this character. We don't even understand what you're talking about." So they created a book that put them in the position, okay, of the sinner, born sinning. So then it was easy for them to try to convert all of them, okay, to follow that. Now this Bible, like I said, I have a couple of them. This is the Gullah Geechee Bible.
Oh, wow.
Okay, because they couldn't understand the talk and the words and the dialect. So they gave this the New Testament, right? DENYEW, right? And this is what they gave to them so they can communicate the Jesus story to them. Like I said, don't forget, Jesus, it was a Jew, right? So this is how far this has come. So this is not the only case in the slave situation book that they tried to use this book to convert the people and convince them that they were sinners and they needed Jesus. And whatever they're going to get is going to be in the hereafter, but not right now. Right now, you're on the bottom. We're the head, you're the tail.
You need to suffer.
You need to suffer. So,
and the reason why you need to suffer is because you're a sinner.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, this is so fascinating to me, man. I'm so family. It's hard for me to explain this, but man, the freedom of thought that I have about this is, I don't want to overuse a word, but liberation is the only thing I can say.
Yes.
To be able to actually receive all of the information that I am coming across. The indoctrination to force people into servitude, and then also the same. And I can't understand why some of my people say that Christianity is the white man's religion. I can understand how they can come to that conclusion.
Yes.
Without even doing a really hard, a deep dive or deep research into why our people, our black community think that way. Because if you begin to start looking outside of the Bible, the confines of the Bible, and start seeing other evidence, how do we come? What really started me on this journey, I want to know, how do we come into possession of the King James Bible? That started this whole journey of what I am doing now, leading me down the path of meeting Dr. Darby and having this conversation that we're having now. Is really enlightening. And man, I'm so just like, I'm fascinated now about what we're doing.
Yes.
So What's on your mind? What would you already say?
Well, what I'll do is I'm going to just recap some of what I think is an important notes to take away from this whole conversation. And then in our next recording, what I'm going to do is get into the good news of it, of what we can do and what we should be doing and what we're born with. As you know, I have a couple of these hats that says born divine.
I see he's wearing it right now, family.
And that's what we are.
Born divine.
Every human, every child is born in the divine state, a divine state. There's no need to be born again, metaphorically or physically. You can't do it anyway. So, but I can break down what that means. And it basically is changing the way we've been conditioned to think, which we'll deal with that the next time. But in these takeaways, I just want everyone listening to know and receive that God did not make man in his image. Man made a sky god in his. Just think about that for a minute. There's nothing greater on this earth, in this realm right here, than the human. Okay? And as humans, we are much greater than a religious imagination. Okay? Humans are born divine as a part of the Creator, the creative essence, reenacting the creative process, generation after generation, and we call that everlasting life. But we are not falling beings obsessed with salvation. That's what we're not. Okay? You are greater than that. We are greater than that. And we'll continue to be as long as this world exists. Okay? So if I can get everyone to just kind of meditate on that, you will start to access that power within yourself, and you begin to share that power with others. And you see, whether it comes to being delivered from anything, overcoming anything, loving anything, it's all going to come through humanity, whether it's yourself or someone else. It will still be another human. Okay? That's it.
We are the action necessary.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes we find ourselves like, how do we get out of this situation that I'm in? And then we look up and say, God, help me out of this. You are the decision. You are the action needed. It's within you. God is in you to take the necessary steps to change your situation. You are. That EVF is in you. It's been passed to you through your ancestry. So that's it, and that's all. That's just as D.L. Hughley would say, this is just a note from the GED section.
Yeah. I like that ancestry line, brother. That's it. I am my grandfather. I am my mother.
Yeah.
My daughter is me.
That's right.
And I am my daughter, or my son. You're right. The line don't stop, man. It don't stop.
Like always, Dr. Darby, man, I look forward to when we are sitting here,
yes, sir,
talking about this. And I hope that the audience members can feel the energy, the genuineness in what we're talking about. Like I said, I'm still learning, and I'm not going to hold anything against anyone. There are great things out of the wisdom out of the Bible. There are things that we can take from the Bible to help us make us better individuals.
Yes, remember the Bible is a group of stolen stories, technically. It's a group of stolen stories, regenerated, remixed, taken from cultures, given back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you start studying other cultures, you'll start seeing all these similarities. Same stories, deliverance stories, same Mother Mary, same Father, God, Son. I mean, the same stories. The flood story, same stories. So wisdom is going to come. Guess what? All of it, all comes through the human. Okay? So we could skip all this, that the sky cracked open and put these books in one man's mind that's chosen, and he only wrote this down, and they compiled it. And after they compiled it, oh, these books were written by special men appointed by, no, you forget all of that. These men, yeah, they were wise, but I can't just use that book. I have to use also what the culture said about the woman and how powerful and mighty the woman was at one point, before these oppressors took over and kind of moved them out of the way. And now we dealt with this masculine, dominated book that you put your hand on in court and raise your other one.
Swear in the president. Swear in the president.
So we'll get there. Let's keep moving.
We will. Sir. All right. Well, family, there's one more little known fact that I'm pretty sure I would want to know. The Slave Bible contains 232 chapters. 232 chapters compared to 1,189 chapters within the Bible. So just to show you the comparison and how it was really orchestrated to really keep the slaves, the enslaved, docile and controlled and not cause an uprising. Done by design, purposely. It's very interesting. And thank you, Dr. Darby, for sharing that information. Got anything else you want to say to the people?
No, sir. Let's go out here and be empowered and make a change. That's what I'm saying. Change the way you've been conditioned to think. You're not alone. It's everybody's opportunity today. Coming over this broadcast and this beautiful opportunity to share life on this side of the living, we have an opportunity. Let's not waste it. Every day counts. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself in changing the way you've been conditioned to think. You're not alone.
Hey, if you have any comments or concerns or want to link up with us, go to our Facebook group page and share your knowledge, share what you want, share your comments, because the only way we're going to grow is through sharing knowledge and growing, comparing contrast. That's the only way we're going to make that breakthrough. Okay? So go to our Facebook page, Grand Rising Empowerment, and check out what we're doing. There's other information on the page to kind of help you challenge some of the things you may be thinking, or as Dr. Darby will say, being conditioned to think. Be the change agent you want to see in your life. With that being said, go out there and do great, mighty things.